You know, there is a time in so many children's lives where they dream of one specific day, a day where the spotlight is on them, it's been highly anticipated, everything is beautiful, sparkly, and perfect. The months and months of planning are all coming down to this one special day where their loved ones will be there to show their support, shower them in gifts, and sob tears of joy as they walk down the aisle to say 2 words, I do. Today, we're talking about planning your wedding day. You're tuning into URL versus IRL, hosted by Bree Lynch.
That was so fresh.
For today's episode, I brought on a perfect guest because not only am I a bridesmaid in this wedding that is coming up, but I am also in the thick of this because my cousin who lived 5 doors down from me is getting married. Welcome to URL versus IRL, Langston.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
Girl, I feel like every time that I have seen you this month, you've been nothing but like on the phone. You're always like, I have to take this phone call. And then you go away for like 2 hours.
Oh my God.
It's a lot, huh?
I'm so ready for this to be over.
The wedding hasn't even happened yet. You guys, by the way, the time that we're recording this is literally what, 5 days before? 4 days before the wedding.
Who's counting?
Let
me look. I think because today is the 30th, 31. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
4 days.
4 days left.
And the 4th day is the wedding. So
Yep.
I don't know if that counts.
Are you excited? I'm sure you are.
I'm excited for the wedding. And I'm excited for the honeymoon.
Yeah. Probably excited for the stress to be over too.
Yeah, I mean, they told me, my wedding planner told me that she's going to fire me the week of the wedding, so I don't have anything to do, which is great.
Nice. We love that. But you were just on the phone when you came in here.
I'm not fired, and that's why she's frustrated, is because I still have a lot of things to do. And, yeah. So I'm glad. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm fired. And then I'm like, well, I still have to find music for this. And I still have to find music for that. It's really just the music that I'm worried about. But I feel like, I think I might be done now after I figured out, because I got the processional. Okay, I'm actually planning right now in my head.
Yeah.
So if we could just all stop what we're doing. The processional music for the bridal people, I told that to my wedding planner. She was going to tell the harpist, because we got a harpist.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
How romantic.
I know. My brother hired a harpist for our wedding for my birthday present. So that was awesome.
That's a good birthday present. I just gave you Overcooked.
I know. I love Overcooked, and it's teaching me and JP how to communicate in a kind way when we're stressed. So it's
the
really
most stressful environment possible.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. He's like, "Are we gonna play Overcooked?" We say no. I'm like, yes.
Me, I cannot handle Overcooked. Like, I get too overstimulated, and I'm like, first of all, I don't cook to begin with. Okay, so don't put me in a video game to cook, and I also don't play video games. So Overcooked and I are not a good match. Like, when I gave that to you, I was like, please don't ask me to play with you because I will not.
I love it, but it's just, you have to be willing to communicate.
Yes,
and it really is like. JP and I are very different communicators. So our whole relationship has just been about like refining our communication. So this game is perfect.
Nice.
And like we had a breakthrough, like legit in our relationship because of this game. Like he's a nurse. So he's really good at need anticipation.
Nice.
Like he's really good at knowing what people need before they ask for it. And I'm a musician, so I just do what I want.
You just make up your own rules.
I just make up my own rules. And like if I feel like someone needs something, I will definitely help with that because I care about them, but I'm not the best at knowing beforehand.
Right.
So we had that conversation while we were playing this game. I was like, babe, like if there's something that needs to be done, I want to do it. Like I just don't have the capacity to know that it's coming.
Y'all don't even need couples therapy. You just need
No,
Overcooked.
we are always in couples therapy, like every second of every day. I feel like that's just kind of the nature of our relationship because of, I'm telling you, man, just the interracial thing is, it challenges you so much. At least it challenges us a lot to really step out of ourselves.
Yeah. I can relate. I've been in a couple interracial relationships.
Yeah, it rocks.
Yeah.
It rocks because you feel like you're really with the other person for them and not just because you have like
the
things
same
in
cultural
common.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it challenges you to understand something.
A different perspective.
Yeah.
That's like
really,
you're never actually going to understand it. You just have to, try your best to empathize and understand and learn and soak up the information like a sponge if you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's the black and white thing too, because it's it's just like for me, because I'm like we're African American, so we're a slave descendant African American. Like don't know like our country of origin or anything like that. And so so much of the culture is built around like the relationship to white people, as opposed to kind of its own thing. And so there are things that like I understand innately are sensitive. That he's actually Italian and Canadian, so his parents both come from immigrant lines. And so like a lot of these things that I feel are sensitive because like of having like American roots, like don't even occur to him at all. Like they just go over his head. We were talking about this the other day. So another thing for the wedding that we're doing is, and if you're going to be at the rehearsal, I encourage you to join in on this. We're all going to wear bonnets. I don't know if you got the text message yesterday.
I did get the text message, but hearing it is so funny. It's such an interesting thing when you're like in an interracial relationship, and then like for those of you that don't know internet, a lot of black women or a lot of women of color, as we go to sleep, we wear bonnets because it protects our hair while we're sleeping. And our hair is very difficult to deal with sometimes. So it's not like you could just brush it out in the morning kind of situation because it is going to be super knotty. So a bonnet is like it's basically just a silk fabric. It kind of looks like a shower cap most of the times.
Yeah.
But you put that on your hair so that your hair you don't wake up and it doesn't look as frizzy. It's not damaged. Like so many different hairstyles that you can possibly have. The bonnet is going to be a protective way for you to sleep and sleep comfortably rather than that. And quite honestly, even the white girls with curly hair, they should do it too.
Bonnets are for everybody. Bonnets are for everybody.
I think that we just were on it way early.
Yeah, because the thing about the bonnet is another thing for black hair is that you usually style it at night. If it's natural, you style it at night, and then it's ready in the morning.
Yeah.
So because you're styling it at night, you might put flexi rods in, which are just like
takes a long time to dry
curlers.
too. Yeah.
Takes a long time to dry. If you're not planning to straighten your hair, then you can't just do it day of. And because it always goes back to curly when it's like exposed to the elements.
Knowledge.
Yeah. I used to make my own hair products.
I remember that.
It was a weird phase. I was putting eggs in my
cute,
hair.
though.
It was cute, but it didn't work. And it was really bad, but I learned a lot. It was so bad, dude. I realized my hair thrives on neglect.
That's where the locks come in.
Yeah, but even before I locked it, I used to do my hair. I wish
they're so cute. My hair would never. Hair would never.
If the white girls can lock their hair, then you can lock your hair.
That's true.
And I think it would be cute. I think it would be cute.
It's just a big commitment.
It's a huge commitment. And I locked my hair because I knew I had commitment issues. And I wanted to work on them. I was so serious. This was before my relationship. I was like, no, I worked in a chiropractor's office and I would see two things. I used to have to lift people's shirts and scan their back.
Yeah.
And, wedding things. I don't know how we got here, but I scanned these people's backs and two things. Every time I saw someone with a tattoo, they were in a relationship.
Oh.
Like in a steady relationship. Every person that I scanned who had tattoos in their body was in a steady relationship. And when I would talk to them, they would be in a relationship. And with locks, I just wanted to lock my hair because I like the style. But people with locks, relationships.
Damn, so if I lock my hair, then my relationship's really going to last, huh?
I mean, you already are in a relationship. I already got the
tattoos.
But I found out when I seriously, like, I found that, like, and I was like, damn, I want to be in a relationship. Like, should I get a tattoo? I'm like, well, I'm having a mental health crisis right now, so maybe I shouldn't tattoo my body just yet and immortalize my trauma. But I should lock my hair because I've been wanting to do that. So that's actually why I locked my hair, because I wanted to get comfortable with making a long-term decision.
Damn, go off.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, and then it changed my whole locking my hair. Like something changed about me the minute I locked my hair. Like I was able, and anyone who locks their hair will kind of know, like something changes once it really starts to lock. Like you become. So I'm a Christian, so I'm not like a Rastafarian or anything, but I did notice that when I locked it, I became more grounded.
Oh, shit.
Like emotionally, I was less swayed by others. Like I was more observing of people, and I was more sensitive to like energy and stuff.
Damn.
I noticed it. Like when it really started to happen, I was like, okay, I'm like more like, because I used to be very extroverted, right? Like I'd want to like be around.
Yeah, I
it
remember.
was the pandemic too, but I did notice that like after some time of being locked, I was just more comfortable doing my own thing.
Damn.
Yeah, and
that's
just
awesome.
letting people come to me. It was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, let's talk about the wedding.
Let's talk about it. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, I got on this huge tangent.
No, it's literally fine. Okay, so if we're going to give the audience a little bit of a backstory, you and JP are engaged sort of recently. Congratulations. I've told you that a million times already.
Thank you,
but, you know, can you tell us a little bit of your backstory with JP? Just like when you guys met, how long you were dating, when you got engaged, that kind of thing.
It's a very long story. I wish he was here. Anyway. Yeah, so the story kind of starts before we met. I was living... So I went to grad school at Wesleyan, which is in Connecticut. I also went to undergrad at Wesleyan, which was in Connecticut. And I was up there literally, my first year I had friends who I went to undergrad with still there. When I was a senior, they were sophomores or freshmen or something like that. Sophomores, I think. So by the time I came back for grad school, they were seniors. And I was friends with them their first year. Then they all graduated, and in my second year of grad school, because it was a 2-year program, I was by myself. I go to this church, and I'm starting to go to this church more because I don't have any friends at school. And I go there. I've been there for 5 months now. Not really too involved with the young adults group, but like kind of. Yeah. I go to this prophecy night one night, which prophecy in the Christian faith is basically the gift of being able to know something before it happens, being able to speak the mind of God, right? So I go to this night, and I'm in the lobby. I'm with this girl. We get lunch together in the lobby area, and then we go in. There's music playing, and I say to her, "Hey, do you want to come sit closer to the front with me?" And she was like, no, she's more shy. She's like, no, I'm okay. I'm all the way in the back of the church. The music is blasting. And I'm like saying this to her quietly. Hey, like, do you want to come with me? She said, no, I don't really want to. I wanted to be in the front because I was really going through a lot with my mental health. And I wanted to hear if God had anything to say to me about it. So I want to sit in the front. So I'm like, all right, see you, girl. Like, I left her dust. And I went I went to the front, right? I was like, all right, I'm going to the front. You know, I'll talk to you later. So you know how there's 2 chairs? If you're at a church or like anywhere where there's people sitting next to each other, you want to sit down in a place where there's enough space between you and the next person that you don't know. Yes. Like you want to sit so there's a seat between each of you.
I feel like that's just standard.
That's standard. Everybody knows that. Literally
everywhere. Like even if I had to sit on a bus, I'm not going to sit right next to you if I don't have to.
And how dare you sit next to me?
Why are you doing that?
How dare you?
I'm looking at you crooked. Like, I'm like, excuse me? Do I know you? Like,
I know. And it's like... when they say in your black privilege doesn't work and someone sits next to you on the train. like, bring back discrimination.
Oh my God, I'm screaming. Oh my God.
So, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You can cut it if you want to.
No, it's fine.
Cancel me. It won't be the first time. So all of the rows are like that. Like the audience is peppered with people. It's not that many people there, but there's just not enough room to sit anywhere. So I'm kind of like, all right. And then I see, by the time I get all the way to the front, there's a row of 6 dudes just sitting there. And I'm not going to sit there. Right. So they're second to the front. The only seat that's left for me to sit in now is the very front row where no one else is sitting. It's just the front row of the church.
All by yourself.
Where the pastors be sitting.
Nice.
All by my damn self.
And she said, I'm going to go right there.
No, I was like, oh, hell no. I literally saw that and I was like so embarrassed because I was like, wow, I look like I am just begging for attention right now.
Yeah, you're
just
a teacher's
sitting
pet.
Straight in the front. Right. Where the pastors be sitting. Like, who am I?
A pick-me.
A pick-me. For God. A pick me for the Lord.
Pick me for Jesus.
A pick me for Jesus. And amen to that, huh? Come on now. Don't be ashamed of this gospel. But so I reluctantly sat down, but it was too late. Like, I just said it with my chest. I'm going to the front. I can't like go back down and be like,
oh, you know what? I changed my mind.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not a pussy. Like, I gotta sit in the front now and just eat that shit. Just eat it. So I sat in the front.
I'm going all the way to the front.
I know. I sit in the front. I turn around. I see this guy that I hadn't seen before. I knew the other guys. I was like, oh, hey. Hi, guys. I turned back around. I saw him. I was like, oh, he's kind of cute, but he probably doesn't like black girls. Like, literally just a thought that I always had.
Immediate thought in every black woman's brain, in my personal opinion.
But I didn't factor for the fact that he was Italian.
Right.
And I should have.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to get canceled again. But it's
no,
true.
It's fine.
It's true.
No, it is true.
It's true. I'm like, where's the camera? I should have. If I knew that, it'd have been Riz right there. But anyway. So
interracial Riz.
Yeah.
Josh said interracial Riz.
Yeah, interracial Riz. So whatever. We did the prophecy night. JP said hi to me.
The guy was JP.
Yeah, the guy was JP.
Yes.
But he didn't have facial hair, so I really wasn't that into him. No beard. No beard. I'm sorry. So I looked at him and I was like, fuck that guy. I was like, my levels were up. Like, I knew he was attractive, but he wasn't my type yet.
Right.
So I get a prophecy. The guy gives me a prophecy, and then he gives JP a prophecy. And one of the things he said to JP was, I know you're worried about family and wife and kids and all those things, but don't worry, you're exactly where you need to be. Like, that's what he said to him that night.
Yeah, you sitting right behind her.
I know, but he was looking at us. But no, he also flirted with me that night. The pastor. Plot twist. When he gave me my prophecy, he started out talking about my looks.
Girl.
Mind you, I'm like one of the only black people in this place.
Literally.
And he's talking about me being light skinned and stuff, like my skin complexion. He's also Italian. So he's like, I wait all summer to get that. I'm like,
okay,
really?
Go off, I guess.
But
why are you making it weird?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too weird. Like, I was kind of like, okay, that's fine. But after the night was over, people were coming up to me, and I came up to the group that JP was talking in, and I was like, yeah, I don't really know what to do with like all these people kind of just coming up to me, saying things about my appearance. Like, oh my God, like, what do I do?
Right.
And then JP was like, just accept it and just take it and just don't do anything with it. Just accept it. And
a stranger.
Yeah, he said that to me, and it seemed like he was like that he didn't like me the way that he said it.
Right.
So I was like, oh man,
like what you trying to say by that?
The cute guy doesn't like me. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I forgot about it. Well, on his end, so that was my side of things. He heard me talking all the way in the back of the church with the music blasting. He heard me tell her that I wanted to be up in the front, and he was like, oh my gosh, like, who is that? That's so cool that she would want to sit in the front.
Oh.
And he was interested in me when he heard me before he saw me. So when I sat in front of him, then he said that he really liked me. Like, when he saw me, he thought I was cute. And he basically was infatuated with me from that moment. And so I didn't know. I thought he didn't like me. I thought he kind of hated me from the way he talked to me. But when he saw the prophet speaking to me about my appearance, he thought I would be embarrassed. So he was trying to comfort me when he responded that way. He was trying to be like, I know you were probably uncomfortable. Just don't let it get to you. That was kind of how he was trying to be. But I wasn't embarrassed because I don't embarrass easily.
Right.
I was like, I'm fine with it. Like,
she said, I'm confident. Don't worry about me.
I don't know. Like, whatever. So, mind you, so I leave the church. Then, we had a couple more young adult events that I showed up to. And he was... he just would wait for me to come to them. Like, he was coming to those events kind of hoping that I would be there. Nice. And then he was going to ask me out one day at church, but then he got scared. And as he was watching me leave to my car, he was like, that's the last time I'm going to see her for a while. I don't know why, but I know. And it's true because I went home for winter break. And so when I went home for winter break, that's when he was like... He was basically, his coworkers had asked him out of nowhere, oh, are you interested in anybody, JP? Like, you've been working here for all these years. We never seen you with a girl or anything. Yeah. And he was like, because he can't lie to save his life. Right. Well, they were like, well, hell? And they basically made him ask me out. So like he typed out the message. The one that sent the message to me to ask me to reach out to me was one of his coworkers. Like,
shut up. That's hilarious because I know exactly what message that was because you and I were hanging out during your winter break. Like the two of us were talking and hanging out, whatever. And you started talking to JP the same time I started talking to Josh.
We got together at the same time and we went to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes, and we literally spoke about this.
And I was like, who is this guy? Like, why did he text me on December 29th? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Like, what do you want? It's not Christmas and it's not New Year's. Like,
right.
Who are you? What do you want?
Right, exactly. What are you going after here? What's going on here? So, first date goes well when you go back to college, huh?
Yeah, I went back to grad school. January 7th was our first date. Mm-hmm. And we basically were, even though we went official February 25th, mm-hmm.
We
were just together from the first date.
Yeah.
That was our first date was the day before I was going on this really long fast, mm-hmm. Where it's like you pray and you don't eat animal products or processed foods and anything. And it's like a super intense time of like spiritual meditation. And the day of our first date, he took me to the grocery store to shop for food for my fast. So yeah, we started January 7th, and we've just been together ever since. Because he told me like there's nobody else, and I was like, well, there's nobody else. Like it's just you and me. Like we just gonna have to figure this shit out. That's what it was.
So then, when did you guys get engaged?
The day before New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so December 30th, right?
Pretty much the year after he reached out to me.
Yeah.
The first time.
That's wild. I feel like that's what every girl wants.
I know.
Like you just want somebody that knows and like get down on one knee and let me know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like that's awesome.
Well, we decided he knew he wanted to marry me within the first 3 months. So we've not like he's never been with another woman like mm-hmm. physically. Mm-hmm. And so he's not the type of guy to be interested mm-hmm. in he really hasn't, from the way he describes it, he really hasn't been physically attracted to another woman other than me, which is like obviously like he's like experiences attraction, but like he's never been like, so he just is the one woman
kind of guy.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, that's why like when it really came down to it, like it was just marriage. Like that's what he knew he wanted. Mm-hmm. The first date, we were talking about marriage on the first date.
Wow.
Yeah, because
I mean, I feel like it's an important question to ask people, you know what I mean, of like what their goals are, what they're looking to do in the future and like all that kind of stuff.
First conversation that we had, so we had a great date. We had such a wonderful time. We went grocery shopping. He pushed the cart. I was shopping. I was like, this feels natural.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I knew that he was going to be the one from the grocery shopping. Like that was the weird thing. But
nice.
So afterwards, he basically told me like, okay, like this, I really like this, and like I'm just trying to figure. I told him like I want to take things slow. Mm-hmm. I want to get to know you. Like I'm trying to figure you out and all that. Mm-hmm. And he's gonna go, yeah, like I'm trying to figure you out too. And there are some things that I'm just not sure about, like the evolution thing. Like I just don't know how we would make something like that work if we were to have children. Because like I want to be married, I want to have children, and I want whoever I'm with to be on the same page with me about certain things. And I know this is really important to you. I would never want to take that away from you. But for me, this is really important to me. So like, that's something I've been thinking about. He ended our first date with that shit. And I was thinking that obviously that sounds like I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like,
yeah, that sounds like I'm not sure if this is going to work out for us.
So at the end of the day, like he tells me that. I'm thinking, he's thinking like it's just not going to work out.
Right.
Gives me the best hug I've ever gotten in my life and then sends me on my way back to my room.
Girl.
I go up to my room and I cry for like 2 hours because I was like, oh my God, like he doesn't like me. Like he doesn't want to be with me, all this stuff, And then, and he didn't know I cried, but at the end of the night, I texted him. I was like, hey, can I call you? He was like, hey, yeah, sure. I was like, do you still like me, or do you just not want to be with me because of the evolution thing? Because I don't care if you don't believe in it. Like, I don't care. He's like, no, that's not what I meant at all. Like, I was just letting you know that, like, you were saying your concerns, so I was saying my concerns, but I still want to date you, I promise. And then he basically, like, confessed that he had been thinking about me for, like, 3 months, and that he asked me out because he really was really only interested in me. You know, guys, like, they ask you out on a date because they're interested in dating.
Yeah.
I thought that's what this was. I didn't know that he was thinking about me, but he told me that because I was starting to feel like he only wanted, I was starting to feel like I just wasn't it, and he was just going to change his mind and move on.
Yeah.
So when I told him, I was like, I just thought you didn't like me anymore. Like, I really had fun. He was like, no, I did too. I was just trying to tell you where my head is at. Like, that's all I wanted to do. I'm so sorry.
Funny.
And then he was like, I'm so amazed by you. I think you're so amazing. I think you're so wonderful. And I really want to. And then he told me, like, he really liked me. And I was like, okay.
Okay, fine.
So yeah, he proposed in December, but he basically, we were talking about marriage. We knew we were going to get married like 3 months in.
And then how long has it been now? So now that was in December that you guys got engaged, and now you're about to get married. How long was the time frame from getting married?
About a
engaged
year, just over a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Total. Yeah.
Total.
Yeah, because you got engaged in December, and right now it's August.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's about to be August.
Girl, yeah. Because your wedding date is on August 3rd. By the time this podcast comes out, you'll be married already. So congrats in advance.
Period. I know you happy girl.
Wow. Damn. So let's talk about wedding planning. I know that's been probably stressful, especially because this is a short period of time to plan a wedding.
Yeah.
Even if you had been engaged for, like, let's say 2 years, and then you decided that you were going to start wedding planning, I don't know, January, and then you decided you were going to get married in September, that is a short period of time to get married just because of the planning.
The planning alone.
There's so many things that go into it. So number one, the dress. How quickly did you find your dress?
Immediately.
Like first day?
Yeah, first dress.
First dress?
Yeah.
That's wild because your dress is beautiful. How the fuck did you find that as your first dress? Did you have an idea of what you wanted?
I told her.
Okay, so you went in with a game plan, and she pulled one and gave it to you.
I used to, when I was a kid, I used to want a mermaid dress.
Okay.
But then as I got
feel
older,
like all
I
of
was
us
like,
do.
all of us wanted a mermaid dress, but then I was like,
No, girl, what if I'm bloated?
yeah, and also, like, it's just like, I'm just a girl. Like,
Right.
I kind of learned stuff about style essences later on, and I learned that, like, I don't have romantic features. Like, romantic...
What?
There are different kinds of essences if you're, like, into fashion.
Yeah.
Gamine is, like, a more boyish face type. Ingenue is a more young, girlish body face type. Romantic is like the Marilyn Monroe.
Oh.
You know, natural is kind of in the middle. Ethereal is kind of like you look like, you know, who's that girl who played Princess Peach in the Super Mario movie? Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh.
Anya Taylor-Joy or something like that. She's ethereal looking because she kind of looks like an alien a little bit. Like everybody's got different style essences that if you wear certain clothes, it looks like it works for what you look like in your face, and then you wear other clothes and it looks too mature. So for me, too mature. If I try to dress like my mom and I wear reds or like super mature, elegant looking, classy clothes, like I'm gonna look like I'm wearing my mother's clothing, not my own. So I have to dress for a more young, girlish style essence for it to make sense on my face because I look 15.
Yes, literally.
So it's like with the big eyes and the sort of young features, you have to dress. You have to dress like in a certain way. So the more ethereal, and then if your eyes are far apart, which hello lynches.
Yes.
You have kind of an ethereal look. So I wanted something that kind of fit my
face
and body more.
Good for you for thinking about that.
Yeah. So I asked the lady, I want something that just feels down. Like I want something that feels like it's like the dress weighs down, like it's bottom heavy, and the dress is bottom heavy.
I'm sure it looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it doesn't feel heavy, but you know the sleeves are like everything is flowing down.
Yes.
I wanted it to flow sort of, and she came up with that dress and she gave me that dress, and it was a boutique. It wasn't like David's Bridal.
Damn.
It was a boutique. So my mom came up with the boutique, and I was like, I want this dress.
Wow.
First dress.
That's crazy because I feel like that's a big stressor for a lot of women is like finding the dress. Like that can take months.
Most brides pick their first dress.
What?
That's what Miss Shirley told me, and she's the wedding planner. She goes, most brides pick their first dress.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
Well, I think it's more like it's the shock factor of seeing yourself in a wedding dress too that like kind of makes you fall in love with it. Mm-hmm. I think partially. Mm-hmm. But also that dress objectively fit.
Yeah.
Like she looked for the dress I described to her.
Yeah, that's good. That's exactly what she's supposed to do. That's her job. So you have a wedding planner.
Yeah.
Okay. How's that been?
She's a family friend. So
Okay.
she's planned a lot of things for us. She planned Richard and Nina's wedding, I think. Mm-hmm. Who's my brother and my sister-in-law. She planned, I don't know if she planned my parents' 25th anniversary. Birthday parties, my graduation party.
Your bridal shower too, right?
My bridal shower.
That was popping. It was so gorgeous.
So
oh my
beautiful.
gosh.
Everybody just, and the colors everyone wore.
Also, that's another thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
Theme. You have a theme.
Yes.
Your theme is citrus.
Yes.
Adorable. Why a theme? Is that a normal thing for weddings? Do people have a theme?
Yeah, it's becoming more of a thing now.
Really?
Yeah, the reason I picked citrus is because I wanted colors that I liked. And I used to really like pink and green together, but
Cosmo Wanda.
Yeah, but my mom's a Delta, and it's the sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Oh,
they're pink and green, and like you can't really. It's like gang culture. You can't rep them unless
Girl.
you are them. I'm dead ass. I am dead ass.
What?
Black sororities do not play, bro. And
really?
When I had my Sweet 16 as pink and green, people was coming up to my mom because she's a Delta, and they're kind of rivals because they're both like the two bigger
Shut up!
sororities.
It goes that deep.
Delta's white and red and white, and the Alpha Kappa Alpha. And if I were to ever pledge a sorority, I would have to pledge Delta.
Shut up.
Yeah. So sororities for
I didn't even go to college, so that's why I don't know any of this shit.
you don't have to go to college to pledge at least a black sorority.
What?
Black sororities are different from like other sororities because they're for life. But I knew pink and green was my C16. I didn't want to have
Do
that
that
conversation with anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to start nothing. I'm not an Alpha Kappa Alpha. My mom is not an Alpha Kappa Alpha. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want no smoke with nobody. So I picked citrus because I do like those colors together. But I'm like into yellow now. So it's like yellow, orange, green. Like I just like bright colors.
Yeah.
That's why I picked it because I wanted a consistent color palette that I felt like wasn't like it reflected what I like.
Okay.
And JP and I have very different taste palettes. I'm more sweet. He likes more like bitter flavors. So the citrus is a nice like
In between.
yeah.
Cute. That's adorable. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. Okay, so when it comes to wedding planning, I know that there's a lot of people that are like bridezillas.
Yeah.
I don't think that you are one. But
Yeah.
did you have any like must-haves versus like absolutely not at my wedding?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't feel too particular about everything that's going on. Like with the dresses, I was like, just pick what you want. Like,
I do remember that. Yeah, Langston, by the way, you guys, Langston literally gave us like 15 options. She got 8 bridesmaids, right? Is there 8? 7 of us.
7,
So
yeah.
8 total because of you.
Yeah.
7 bridesmaids, and you gave us like 15 options for dresses and colors.
Because I didn't want to fight with nobody.
Good for you.
I was like, these are the colors you can pick from.
Right.
If
Just
anybody,
choose something.
Just choose something and pick something. I want it to be kind of staggered so that it's one after the other.
Yeah.
But I feel like people are spending money on their dresses. They
Yeah.
have to like the dress.
Yeah.
Like I kind of don't want to make people buy a dress they don't want. It's just not worth it.
Good for you.
Yeah, because I also directed a musical like last year, and it makes people feel better to feel like they have
To have confidence in what they're wearing. Yeah.
confidence
absolutely.
in what they're wearing, and also agency in their part of in their contribution to the project. It's like it's hard to get people to be enthusiastic about what you're doing if you don't give them any say in what's going on.
Go off.
So I like, even with my musical, and it was mine, I had things that I was like, people would listen to the things that I did not
Yeah,
want.
you're probably like, here's the vibe.
Yeah. People would listen to the things that I didn't want more because I was more supportive of their creativity. So with the wedding, I tried to just be like, at least with the dresses, I tried to just be like, I want you guys to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah. Did you have anything that you didn't want specifically at your wedding aside from?
as a part of it, I'm just not a huge Beyonce fan. So
Oh.
I didn't want Beyonce music. I mean, anything from like the 4 album is fine and before, but like I wouldn't want anything from Renaissance. I
That's
didn't
such
want
a
anything
weird
from,
thing for you to be like, no, Beyonce.
No, I don't like Beyonce. And it's not because
Sorry,
she's not
Queen
a great
Bee.
musician. I love her music abilities, but
It's just not for you.
yeah, no, spiritually she just throws me off, man.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Anything else that you didn't want specifically? I can tell you one thing.
Yeah, what? Kids at our wedding.
Kids.
Kids at our wedding, bro.
That's going to be a conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick.
It's caused a lot of problems.
I was going to say that's a controversial topic.
I don't know why it's controversial.
I don't understand why it's controversial either.
Because my family got to pay for the kids to eat. So
right,
it's like,
lay it out for them. Tell them.
You know, and it is hard because a lot of JP's family, they're from Connecticut. We're having the wedding in New Jersey near my family. They're not coming because they have a lot of kids.
Right.
And no one's complained about it. So that's really helpful. But it is sad that a lot of his family couldn't make it because they couldn't find a babysitter or they couldn't come out. Like, I do understand that, but if we allow kids at the wedding, it's got to be everybody's kids.
Right. That and also something's just more prone to going wrong.
Yeah, something's more prone to going wrong.
Like I could kick a kid on the dance floor by accident, and I don't want to do that.
That's exactly what JP said, and he's tall, and he's not always, gonna be able to be careful not to hurt someone, and he's had this problem in the past where like he'll just be walking around and a child will just throw themselves at his feet. And he told me that before I saw it happen. I've seen it happen twice. One time we were walking in Walmart and a child just threw himself in front of JP. Like as he was walking and JP almost tripped on the child. That was after he told me, Langston, I don't want kids at the wedding because kids throw themselves in front of me.
He better start doing cartwheels or something.
I know.
They end up at your feet. You just
the freaking Olympic somersaults and stuff like that.
Yes, literally.
I was like, okay. So he was honestly more adamant about it than I was.
Yeah.
I want him to be
comfortable,
happy, and comfortable.
Yeah, because like
his
people
wedding.
Focus on the bride, but like the groom's important too, or whatever.
Yeah, because guess what? The bride gotta talk to him at the end of the day.
Yeah,
like I have
married.
to deal with him.
Right.
We can't just and I don't want to start that now, like making decisions that he doesn't approve of or agree with.
Good for you.
Early on in our relationship to please other people, like, because like
it's about you guys.
He matters. Like how he feels matters, and he doesn't care about almost anything.
Yeah.
With the wedding, he hasn't had.
Most grooms
don't care.
Yeah.
The only thing that he really cares about is that he does not want kids at the wedding.
Yeah.
And we waited a long time, both of us, for this moment, and we want it to be what we would think is really special for us. And everybody who had kids brought their kids to the wedding. And there's 150 adults coming to this wedding.
Is that a big wedding?
That's a medium wedding. But if everyone brought their kids, like that's going to turn into like 200 people easily.
Yeah.
Like and then the kids don't want to eat the food.
We don't got time.
It's not feasible for the reception. At the ceremony, we're having kids at the ceremony.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's a general, but we know like if we turn the lights off or whatever, somebody's going to cry. And, we waited a really long time for this. So that's not going to be our favorite thing either. There's only so much that you can do. And it'd be nice to have kids be able to be a part of it in some respect.
I mean, if people want to involve their children, because then people probably get sensitive about like, why can't my kid come and this and that and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Because that's a part of their family. But like also, it's not about them today. Their birthday is about them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The kids I don't think that most of the time they don't want to go to something like that anyway.
No, the kids don't want to get dressed up.
No, they don't.
Come on. And then also you want to spend all that money on your kids' clothes that they're going to grow out of in literally 2 minutes.
It's for the parents.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that a lot of parents have not been able to come because they've not been able to find childcare. And it's not just your dad. It's like other people too who don't.
He's coming, by the way.
Oh, he is?
He is, yeah. He's flying in. He told me on Friday. He asked me to pick him up. I was like, no, I got the rehearsal. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wish Lance could come.
Me too.
I really wish Lance could come, but I get it. He's all the way over there. But yeah, no. A lot of people couldn't make it. They couldn't find childcare. And I do feel for them, and I wish that I could make exceptions for certain people. But
then somebody's gonna have something to say.
If I make exceptions, so much of JP's family hasn't come because of kids, and
Yeah.
only because of kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so disrespectful to them.
Because for them, it's like 2 days that they need to find childcare. Realistically, well, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess a whole day, because it's probably 3 days of their time that they have
Yeah.
to take, because they got to drive down, which is multiple hours, and they got to get to the wedding and do the whole wedding thing for the day, and then the next day they would probably go home. So now they really got to, and then you got to find childcare either up there for multiple days or find somebody down in New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the very basics of planning a wedding. I
Yeah.
know nothing.
Oh, I should have brought my notebook.
Oh,
I should have brought my wedding planning notebook. It's okay. What do you want to know?
everything. What are like the basics? So let's start. Like, what's the first thing you have to do when you start planning a wedding? Find a venue, probably, or pick a date.
Yeah, the date and the venue were like the first thing that I was looking at. Budget probably is the first thing, which I didn't understand. Like, you go into wedding planning, it is good to have someone to help you financially, but it's like you start out and you don't know how much it's supposed to be, which is like, if I know how much it's supposed to be, I can know
what my budget is.
But
Right.
I don't even, like, I can't just come to a wedding and be like, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to be able to spend $10. Like, give me a supposed to number.
Right.
An average, a low, a high.
Right.
So I feel like the average right now is 30,000. Yeah.
For the size of your wedding, or for a small wedding or a big wedding?
Average sized wedding, that's actually kind of small. 30,000 is actually, it's like an average wedding. It's the price of an average wedding.
Okay, got it.
Because, okay, I'll just break down the budget.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are having 150 people at our reception. We are paying $100 per plate. That is really good these days. That is really good these days. There's a couple of factors that go into it. There's peak season, which is September, October, November. Those are the most popular months to get married.
Of course, because it's fall and the weather's nice, and you don't have to worry about it raining as much, and everything's pretty.
But like, August is one of the cheapest months to get married.
Because it's hot.
But like, if you like the heat, what's the problem?
Also, be inside. Go inside then.
Yeah. June, there are two peak seasons. Obviously spring, obviously June. So June is like the most, in September. Those are the two big ones. August is like the low season. So you can save like $5 per person on a table for that. And February and January are the cheapest months to get married.
I'm going to tell you right now, Joshua, we are not getting married in January or February, because that's your birthday, our anniversary. I don't want to hear it.
That's a lot.
We're not doing it.
I hear you.
Also, Valentine's Day, not doing it.
Yeah.
Winter is off limits for us.
Listen, August is I will say though, by the time, I feel like I've heard that wedding anniversaries, like, they kind of overshadow the dating anniversary and everything.
Yeah, of
so
course.
that's why it's kind of like, I like the idea of a January or winter wedding. Like, I wanted to do something like that. But yeah, the peak season, June, September. Then you've got like sort of the March, April. Those are also like really high. November, October. Those are high. Low is August, is pretty low. I feel like July is closer to where, like, higher up. And then January, February are the lowest. And I wish we got married in January or February. We wanted to just get married. We didn't want to wait a year by the time he had proposed. So yeah. And weekdays you can save a lot of money by having your wedding. We went to a Thursday wedding recently. We would have picked a weekday if JP's family wasn't coming from Connecticut.
Okay.
We had to pick a Saturday.
Right.
So Saturday's the most expensive day. Sundays, as weekends go, it's Saturday, Friday, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For days of the week to get married. Then weekdays, it's like ridiculous how much money you could save by getting married on a Thursday or a Monday.
Damn.
I don't think they do like middle of the week usually. But yeah, the cheapest place that we were able to find that supported the size of the wedding that we were asking for was the one that we're at now, which is 100
per person.
101. It's 115. 115 is like the next lowest that I had been able to find. And then it's just 120, 130 per person. And that
Is that from the venue or that's per plate? That's per the event.
That's for
Each person at the venue?
each person at the venue. Sometimes they'll do the thing where they don't have a caterer.
Okay.
So that's for, I think that's for the everything, for the food, entrance, everything.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to find a separate caterer, so they'll charge like 60 something per person. But then you have to either use the venue people that they are suggesting, or you have to find your own. You can get a separate venue. I wouldn't recommend, actually, I don't know, because I haven't done it, but it does make looking a lot more stressful. Like
Right.
it's easier to just have everything together.
In one place, yeah.
Sometimes they have a DJ that you have to use.
Okay.
And so,
oh, shit.
Yeah, they have like an in-house DJ that you have to use with them.
I was going to ask, how do you like find a DJ? Like, you got to just be looking people up on the internet?
My
or what?
DJ is my cousin.
Okay, go off.
He also does like all of the events that we do, and
Nice.
he's an awesome DJ. So, yeah, it's good to have family that you know like work in entertainment.
Yeah.
Somehow, photographer was a bit of a challenge to find a good photographer, but we ended up picking someone that
That's because your photographer of the family is in the wedding party.
yeah, all the photographers are in the wedding party, right?
Literally me, and then Lance is all the way in California
I
right
know.
now, and he
But
can't come.
He doesn't photograph weddings. Like he told us he wasn't going to do it.
Weddings are a huge responsibility to photograph.
Yeah.
Like, and you are working yourself to death. Plus, when you're a photographer, like that does not mean that you are equipped to shoot a wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like different, like, think of it as like a bundle, but I'm thinking of my camera case, of what I have in my camera case, like different lenses, different flashes, different filters, different everything. You know what I'm saying? Like down to even the camera that you would choose for whatever it is that you're specifically doing. It's all different. Like that, I would never use to shoot any photos.
Yeah.
I would literally only use that for video.
And you got to get candids.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's like, it feels like it's a game of candids.
Yeah. Yeah. It's stressful. Like wedding photographers are no joke.
And then you could get scammed.
Yes.
Like that's the thing that almost happened to us. But the person that we found that we were almost going to hire, we found out that they had scammed somebody before us, and they paid him, and then he did not release their pictures ever.
Damn.
We didn't even know until my mom told us, and then we were like, okay. So then we found someone at our church in Connecticut who's coming down for the wedding, and
Nice.
he gave us kind of a family discount,
Nice.
which is still like close, just above $1,500.
Yeah.
For the So, but hey,
I was going to say that.
that's reasonable. I
That's
think he
very
charged us
reasonable.
15.
That's very reasonable.
He charged
That's
us
super
15,
reasonable.
but it's still crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still crazy. Everything went up. So what I heard is Richard and Nina got married. The way we found the venues, I basically picked the same caterers that Richard and Nina, my brother and sister-in-law, chose.
Okay.
And I saw that their prices were much better than anyone else that I could find.
Okay.
Basically, or Miss Shirley said, yeah, their pricing, they used to be like 85 per person or 60 something like per person. And then the pandemic happened and everything went up like almost twice the amount that it was. And so they're still reasonably priced. That was like the first stuff that I was doing, was just figuring out what I wanted for the venue. And, I guess who we were hiring for things, and
So did you get caterers with the venue? Do they work with the venue
they're
or no?
all together.
Okay, nice. So, question about venues. Do you know if they charge differently because you're hosting a wedding?
Yes.
Versus, I figured they did.
No. It's we were considering pretending that we were not having a wedding,
Yeah.
going to a venue, because my mom planned a family reunion. They're shameless about it. It's not even. You call it a wedding, and it's like it goes up like $50 per person, $100 per person. It will go up. Like this place called Adelphia. There's this venue called, and I'm not trying to trash talk. It's just
It's a fact.
my
Is what
mom.
it is.
My mom planned a party, and it would have been exactly what a wedding was, except the clothing was a little bit different.
Right.
So it was like, there was a little PowerPoint, there was there was a band, and there was a DJ, and we danced together, and my mom made speeches and everything, and she paid something like $50-$60 per person. And so I was like, oh, okay, so maybe we can look at Adelphia for a wedding reception. It wasn't the cutest place, but like, hey, we can make it work for $50-$60 per person.
Yeah.
Our weddings are 100 something. Like they change, like it's not even, as soon as it has anything to do with a wedding, they will up. They're not even slick about that. Like
Wow.
they're open about like, oh, if it's a wedding,
We charging you more.
We're charging you way, way more. So we did everything that we could. The only way around it is there's really no way around it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With the reception stuff, there's really, I guess that you could get a place, like a public place.
So they charge you more if you're hosting a wedding or even just a reception for a wedding.
Honestly, if you just want to tell them that you're having a little party, don't wear wedding clothes.
Yeah.
Just wear normal clothes. Call it like a freaking family reunion. Wear like something slightly nice and don't make it seem like anything.
Yep.
You could get away with it, probably.
I was going to say, I feel like if people like elope and then they're just doing a reception as like a party on a later date, they could probably get away with that.
Yeah, but
and not call it a wedding.
Literally, if they don't call it a wedding. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Same shit. Food, party, dancing, same thing. $100 per person more or something crazy like that. I don't remember what the difference was. I would tell you, but...
That's okay. So, I know that you had a little bit of some difficulty with this. I want to ask you because I feel like this is something that a lot of people wouldn't know. The marriage license situation.
Well,
what are the rules?
Okay, so the reason that we had difficulty is because our church is on the border of 3 different counties.
The one that you're getting married in?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's 3 different counties on which the campus sits.
They in the intersection.
So we registered for it and everything. It was in the wrong city. So then we were going to try to swing it differently. She's like, yeah, you can't do this. You can't. And I was like, oh, we are doing this.
Yeah,
we're going to have I said, this is how it's going to happen. We're going to have our religious ceremony at the church. Then we're going to come over here and do a cute little ceremony. And he's going to say the piece. She tried to fight me on it. I was like, it's not a question. We're having a ceremony because he had to take a train out of New Jersey back to Connecticut in like 40 minutes. I had to leave right then and there by the time we got the license.
So your marriage license needs to be
it has to be in the place that you are going to have your ceremony. Wow. So you can have an informal ceremony, you can have a religious ceremony and then a legal ceremony. Okay. But the legal ceremony has to be in the town that
you're getting married
that you are getting married in.
That you're saying your vows and all all that stuff.
Yeah, it could be the legal vows, like just what is required.
Wow.
The pastor has to sign the paperwork in the city that it's registered in, or it's not valid.
Wow, that's wild. That'll
so
throw you for a loop if you don't know that.
Richard and Nina had to do that because they registered for it in Burlington because they thought it was part of Burlington County or something like that. They thought, and so they had to come back to my house to do the actual wedding ceremony after the religious ceremony. They had to do that. So we were planning to do that because they married at the same church. And this church, the location of this church is so confusing. People keep registering it in the wrong county. It's like,
they need to figure that out.
I know.
That's so annoying. Oh my gosh. Well, that's good to know. Are marriage licenses expensive or no?
No, they're $28.
What do you think has been the most unexpected thing about wedding planning so far? Do you have anything that you're worried about?
For the wedding day?
Mm-hmm.
The music.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the last thing to really work out. The harpist, fitting her into everything.
Do you have to pick like every single song when it comes to like the reception or no?
No, not the reception. The DJ wants
a vibe.
And then you kind of go with that. But for the ceremony, that's the thing that I need to pick the music for. And I'm like, because I have a harpist, she needs to know.
She needs to know.
Die. I didn't know that she needed to play for certain things. So I'm just like, y'all need to figure this shit out.
It's a lot of detail, I feel like. When you came into the house today to record the podcast, you were like literally on the phone.
I was on the phone with the wedding planner about the harpist.
Yeah.
And the harpist was honestly the thing I was the most excited about because like harps are cool.
Yeah.
So, but now it's becoming a little bit
it's another stress. It's just another thing added on top of your plate right now.
Yeah, and I want to be done. I've heard that I'm fired, but I feel like I'm probably not fired until probably tomorrow.
You're not fired until August 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not fired until August 3rd at 11:30.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I know this is going to also be a controversial question. Why did you guys choose to not elope?
Oh, yeah. Because I'm extra. Yeah. I'm
She
extra.
said it's all about me.
You know what? We've had some time together now. I think we can say that it's true. I'm okay with you admit. No, you can. It's okay. Like, I'm not offended. Is it too much? Yeah.
You know what's so funny is I was on Reddit like reading stuff about weddings and stuff, and people had so many opinions about like American weddings just being this big like showcase.
Whatever. Like, I'm an American girl.
You're right. She's an
Like,
American girl.
I always joke. I'm like, ugh, I should have just eloped. But like, I would die in a hole if I eloped. I know deep down, like I wouldn't want to do that. Like, I want to be. I'm a Barbie girl. In a Barbie world.
Yep.
You know?
Good for you
like
for
that,
understanding and admitting that.
And JP and I have talked about it seriously. We've talked about lying to everyone and just saying that we're not married, but we're really married, just so we can have sex. We are waiting until marriage, in case you haven't felt that energy in the room. The anxiety in the room, very palpable from my end. I will be a different person when I watch this podcast.
When you listen to this episode back.
Yeah, I will be a different person. We're waiting. So we talked about it seriously.
Yeah.
It's just a really important part for both of our faith to wait. Yeah. We both have waited up to this point. Mm-hmm. And so...
that's rare. I feel like
it is very rare.
Nowadays, yeah.
Especially for guys.
And how old are you guys?
I'm 26 and he's 28. Mm-hmm. And like we both we take our faith really seriously. Mm-hmm. And also like I don't want to get pregnant. So I didn't meet anybody I wanted to get pregnant by, so I didn't have sex. Yep. It's the easiest way to not get pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's been working so far. It will stop working soon, but
there's probably a little bit of frustration there, but
yeah,
I mean, at least it's working. I mean, I don't know. I think that like it's probably, I don't know. I can't relate. So like, it's probably hard.
It is hard, but because you've never done it, it's not as hard as it is for other people.
Well, I guess you could say that that's probably the same thing for me with like drugs and alcohol because I never have.
Yeah.
Never even dipped the toe in.
And then it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. Like, but we've been very like close. Like we've basically been married. Not like, I mean, you've seen us together. Yeah. Like we cohabitate often. I still live. Oh shoot! I gotta freaking pay my landlord my last. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm not gonna think about it. They all can just wait. All right, everybody can wait.
I'm about
for their
to
money.
have Josh start writing a list down for you over there for when you're done with the podcast.
Yeah, I was living like we didn't live together, even though we would see each other every day. Yeah, we lived 25 minutes apart, so I was driving 50 minutes a day to and from his house to come and see him. We would eat dinner together every day. You know, we did everything together. Except for live together. Yeah, we basically have done everything together. We've never had sex before. And it's kind of it would take a deliberate decision for us to cross that boundary because we've just never done it. Mm-hmm. And That's exciting. Yeah, I know. Though. We've never done that before. We're really excited about it. Just like, because it's like, it's hard being abstinent your whole life. Like, we were obviously abstinent before we met each other. Yeah. And it's really lonely. Yeah. The older you get, you know, because there's less people who can relate to that. Oh, yeah. It's such a big part of life for people, you know, when you're a teenager, it's like, it's okay. Then you get to college and you're like at the stage where like pretty much everyone has or is sexually active. And then there's like a breaking point past which like you've accepted it and you don't feel as lonely about it anymore. And I would say that that's where you are. Like for me, it was after college. I kind of was like, okay, like I don't, you never regret it. That's the thing that's like, that's interesting. It's like, because I've found that like people, I feel like were not really willing to be with me for who I was. Like everyone. Yeah, because a lot of people want that. Yeah. Everyone that valued me as a person was okay with me saying no. Nice. And everyone who didn't value me as a person. Weeded himself out quick. I watched them from afar and I didn't get close to them because I knew they'd be the type of person to take advantage. Yeah. So I don't regret it at all. Even times when I knew someone did value me and they would have been okay either way. I'm glad I didn't because in hindsight, they didn't last the test of time. And so he would probably say the same thing. For a woman, it's hard, but I think for a guy, it's just very different and very, very hard.
Especially because, like, I don't know. I mean, at least I don't know how real life goes being a man, but like at least in movies and TV shows, that's something that a lot of guys bond over.
Yeah,
because they like to,
yeah,
do
they
the
just,
wrong
like,
thing and share stories and talk about, you know what I mean, and like talk about it and that kind of
terrorize
stuff.
women.
Yes,
terrorize women with their behaviors. And just kind of treat them like they're disposable.
I mean, but it's like it's a weird bro bond in a sense. You know what I mean? When then they start talking about it and like it's like locker room talk. You know what I'm saying? Like that's got to be difficult for him to not be able to engage in that conversation. Just like for me, when I can't like engage on people's conversation where they're talking about, oh, I was so drunk when this and this one time that we all went out and this and that and blah blah blah. And like I feel like for me with alcohol and the use of any kind of drugs, it's been the same kind of situation where like I'm just quiet in those conversations because I can't say anything.
You can't relate.
I can say that I don't regret never having tried any of those things, but there's definitely a lot of curiosity, and I feel like it comes and goes in waves. Like, you know what I mean? There's points where I've been very curious and I'm just like, don't do it. And then finally I fall back down and I'm fine again. And like, it's wild. And I think that that's something that's going to be really interesting for people for the listeners right now to hear, because a lot of people are not going to be able to relate to either one of us in that sense, because people just do whatever.
They
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, peer pressure is so real. You know what I mean? And I feel like some people get pushed into that really quickly. That was like, oddly enough, kind of a situation for me with having sex for the first time. Very like a lot of peer pressure.
Yeah.
Not in like a bad way, not from the person that was the first person that I had sexual intercourse with, which was actually Joshua, believe it or not.
I'm aware.
Hilarious.
You told me. I said, yeah.
Like even the two of us, that was both of our first times together, and like we were really peer pressured into that situation, which
I remember
is wild.
because you were at a party,
somebody else's house. Yeah. It was wild. I mean, and like we were in a relationship and everything. It was fine, and we turned out fine, and everything was fine after
everything
that.
ended up being fine, but it sucks that like there's like this pressure,
and people fall into peer pressure very quickly, which is probably why a lot of people are not going to be able to relate to the two of us on that topic. But the more you know.
The more you know.
Facts.
And it's like there is a breaking point again past which you don't regret it anymore. Are you still on the
up and down with the curiosity? A little bit. I mean, I think that like for such a long time I fell off of the curiosity, area of that, and I think that now, like, I'm not gonna lie, like dating a musician, and like that's where a lot of musicians and people in entertainment kind of lie, and a lot of people like experiment and all that kind of stuff. It makes it a lot harder because I'm around it a lot more often. And I think that also now as an adult, like I've been talking to my therapist a lot about like how the fact that I have undiagnosed ADHD, and we think that I'm a little anxious and like this kind of stuff. So we're really diving into all of that stuff. And more recently, it's been more of a curiosity for me because I'm like, would this chill me the fuck out? Would this like slow the thoughts down in my brain a little bit?
Are you talking about weed? I'm telling you. I'm gonna, okay, if your brain is anything like me, weed is gonna be horrible for you.
Yeah. I've heard this from a lot of people. So I think that the more that I've talked about it recently, people are like, don't start now. It's literally not worth it, is what people tell me. And then other people are like, I wish I never started. So thankfully, because I'll express it out loud and I'll talk to people about it, people are able to steer me away from it, and not in a, you're so pure, don't do it kind of way. But they're like, it's literally fucking expensive and not worth it. And I wish I wouldn't have started because now I wouldn't want to continue doing it. Okay. So back to the wedding stuff. You guys did not elope. For what reason?
We just wanted our first time to be special, and we knew that if we eloped, we were just gonna have sex. And we wanted to wait until the night of the ceremony, the night of
she said right after the ceremony, in between then and the reception. No,
yeah. Because my mom was really like, "Oh, you want the limo ride to be with the whole bridal party?" I said, "Mom,
no, girl.
I want my partition. Yeah, I want my partition, Beyonce partition moment. No, JP is not gonna let that happen, unfortunately. But no, I'm not. I thought that was gonna happen for real. I was so disappointed when I realized that was not going to happen.
That is so funny.
But wait,
do we have a limo? Are we going from one to the other?
You guys have a limo towards and then the reception, and then you guys are getting rides with the groomsmen to the reception.
Oh shit!
From the house to the wedding, limo for everyone.
Okay,
all of us, and then the groomsmen are going to drive.
Okay,
and then from the reception to from the ceremony to the reception, us just in the limo, so that we can just have some time together.
Cute.
Honestly, just to be together, because it's like the wedding is with everyone and the cocktail hours with.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a problem that a lot of brides have when it comes to their wedding, is that they never actually get time with their groom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like an idea in your head of how you're going to keep yourself grounded and make sure that you guys get enough time together?
Our table is separate from everyone.
Go off. Also, I've heard from other brides on podcasts that like you just need to stick by each other's side like the whole day. People are going to be trying to pull you guys apart and like talk to this one, talk to that one, whatever. You guys need to be like together, literally y'all might as well be handcuffed together.
Yeah.
Is what I've heard, because it is about you guys. It's not about the rest of us. So like don't worry about the rest of us during the wedding, you know what I'm saying? Or like during the reception, like make it about you. Don't worry about anybody else, because they're really not thinking about that kind of stuff. As long as we got food, we got alcohol for those people to drink.
Yeah.
And there's music, people will really, we're fine.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually thought about like us needing to stick together the whole time, only because JP is not a huge dancer.
Right.
He doesn't like to dance that much. He kind of is afraid of dancing. And I'm getting him to dance more now that we're like together. But I love to dance.
Same.
So
I'll be there with you. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Jesus. I like to get down. Ass will be thrown. Ass will be caught. That's exciting. Like, but you know, I kind of, when we go to parties, like there's a moment at which I'm like, I just need to be on the floor doing my thing, and you just do your thing.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably have a little bit of together, a little bit of separate, you know, just because like I'm just the party person and he's really not. Like, I think in order for us to both thrive, we would have to separate at some points. Like we're just such different people that you know we have to work something out for that. But I actually don't know. Like we've gone to enough parties together now where we're kind of in a rhythm, and he's like kind of dancing more and everything.
Good.
I don't know.
That's awesome.
But sometimes I need to lose him because I really just need to bust a move real quick. That just is what it is.
Speaking of the reception, the wedding cake, that's usually a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you... Okay. Did you get a big cake or no?
It's going to be a tiered cake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask how much cakes cost?
I'm not paying for the cake.
Do you know how much it costed though?
No, because my mom covered, my parents are covering everything for the reception.
Go off.
So that was sort of the agreement. My parents cover the reception stuff, and then I'm gonna do more for the wedding ceremony. So I'm doing the bride's bouquets and yeah.
Do you not want to know how much the cake costs?
I don't know. Do.
I'm curious. Can you Google it?
I think most wedding cakes cost like anywhere between $250 to $500.
$250 to $500.
$250 to $500. Josh is over there on Google for us right now.
Cool.
Yeah, $500.
$500.
That makes sense.
That's wild.
$300 to $700 in the US.
He says $300 to $700 in the US.
I don't know. The flavor, guess what flavor we got? Marble. We got marble cake.
Girl, that's interracial. Also, you got a cake topper that's cute, right?
I'm guessing it's not vegan.
Oh man, it's true.
Okay, listen, when Josh and I get married, like I have decided that I want a small cake for the two of us that'll be vegan, and then aside from that, I just want to do like cupcakes, or I want to do a more simplistic cake, like maybe even 3 of them, just like normal cakes. They don't need to be wedding themed, anything like that. Maybe like normal cakes, because number one, a lot of people like, you're like, cake, who wants cake, and then like nobody wants to eat the fucking cake, which is probably so frustrating after you spend so much money on a goddamn cake.
But the cake is good though.
I'm sure it's gonna be good. I'll be eating it for sure. But yeah, I was gonna say like, I think we're gonna probably do like an untraditional kind of thing and do like a smaller like vegan one for the two of us and whoever else. But aside from that, maybe just do like 3 normal, like from a regular, I don't need to tell you it's for my wedding, nothing, because I don't want to spend that much money on the cake. Plus, my mom's a baker, so I'll probably just ask her. But
I wanted to bake mine.
Also, I want to have different flavors. Like, I want like carrot cake, red velvet.
Well,
and, like,
they flavor the tiers differently.
Oh, cute.
So
we can stack that shit ourselves. Don't be charging me no $700 for a cake.
The tiers, the bottom tier is gonna be marble. The middle tier is going to be chocolate, and then the top tier is going to be
vanilla.
Marble again. But here's how it usually goes. The tradition is the guests eat the bottom 2 tiers, and the couple takes the top tier and puts it in the freezer and then eats it for their first anniversary.
What?
My mom still has the top tier of Richard and Nina's wedding cake.
Shut the fuck up.
It's been like 8 years.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So,
Are you excited to change your last name?
I am not.
Yeah. You know, I think it's so funny because I think like as little girls, like we like write our name in our notebook with Mrs. blah, blah, blah. It's like Mrs. Ganesh, you know what I'm saying? But like, but I feel like once it really comes down to it, time of like you don't get to choose who you fall in love with, so you just get stuck with what they got.
I really don't have a last name Tyrone. I'm not excited about it.
You're no more alliteration for you.
I know
that shit's gone.
I wanted to do the mixing of last names, but he's the fourth, so if we change his last name, then he's not gonna lose his status as the fourth, and he'll have a identity crisis.
He was the fourth for 28 years.
He but also it's so important to him.
Are you worried about having an identity crisis?
Me? No.
Yeah.
No.
Girl, what? I am.
I've already had like 3.
You're so real for that. You're so
What's
real
another?
for that.
Like
what's one more?
I know, but I mean, I'm kind of like I don't mind. Like in my mind, the change. It's something that as a woman, like we expect.
I guess.
Like growing up, I don't think that JP ever expected that, and I don't want to spring it onto him.
As like a career, I don't want to say like as a career woman, but like as a career woman, I guess, or like career focus, like
as
my name has been such a staple for everything I have done. Like now, even with the podcast, like I think about the fact that I'm going to have to like change my intro in the podcast. Whenever we get married one day. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's not going to be like with your host, Bree Lynch. Like, no, I'm going to have to change that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about like this girl, Alex Cooper. I listen to her podcast. It's called Her Daddy Podcast. And like she still has Alex Cooper. And I don't know if she actually changed her name when she got married or like what. I don't want to do let's talk about separated last names for a second, because like when you have a dual last name, right? When you got either a hyphenated kind of situation like me, or when you do a space in between your last names, was there a specific reason that you didn't want to combine? Not even like combine where it would be like Larone for the two of you, but like
be so cool.
It would literally be so cute.
But I can't do it.
I understand.
I just have to let it go.
I'm not going to drag you down that.
If I think about it, I'll die.
Was there a reason that you didn't do Lynch Tyrone or Tyrone Lynch?
Yeah, because
it's kind of cute, actually. I'm not going to lie.
It is cute. JP assumed actually that I wasn't going to take his last name.
Really?
When we first started dating. When like a couple months in, when like we knew we were going to get married, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to change my last name for you. He was like, oh my gosh, really? And he like cried.
Damn, we love a Cancer.
He cries so much. I love it.
We
it's
love
like one
a
of my
Cancer.
favorite things about him. I like, it sounds so like weird, but like I love it when he cries, because he's always like overwhelmed by joy or happiness when he cries. He doesn't usually cry when he's sad.
Yeah.
And so he cries when he feels love. And he was like, oh my gosh, like that's so nice that you would want to change your last name for me, because he assumed that I would want to hyphenate. And I was like, I thought I told you that I'm gonna take your last name. Like part of the reason, so that's like part of it is because like he's a traditional person. I'm kind of traditional too. So I like the idea of coming into his world, if that makes sense, and like really committing to that.
Yeah.
Also, like I guess it's like my mom changed her last name for my dad. Like I've seen so many people do it that I feel like if I were to do something different, it would be kind of like I'm trying to maintain a separation, and I'm really not. Even though the name isn't my favorite, like ultimately it's more important to me that I look like we are together and on the same page.
Yeah,
like
on the same team.
Yeah, like I just feel like that will cause people to ask questions about us that I don't really want them asking.
It does cause that, and I will speak as a person with a hyphenated last name, so my listeners probably don't know this because I never use my full name on the internet, but I have a hyphenated last name. I have my mom's last name and my dad's last name. My parents were never married, so I will say, if you are thinking about keeping your, what is it called? Maiden name.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about keeping your maiden name and maybe just adding on to your last name, for the love of God, do not put a hyphen in there. Do not. It is the most inconvenient character, symbol, anything I've ever had in my entire life. Listen to me. Do not add a hyphen into your last name. Don't do it, okay? First of all, grown adults do not know what hyphen means. You try to tell them, oh, my name is Brianna, this hyphen Lynch. They don't know what a hyphen is. They look at me so crooked when I tell them that there's a hyphen in my last name, and then I have to make them feel dumb and tell them that it's a minus sign, okay? And then they got to look for it on the keyboard. It takes them an extra, 0.3 seconds to, compute what I'm asking them to do, right?
There's a hymen in your name?
Oh, my gosh. And then in addition to that, it doesn't fit on anything. It never fits. But what I learned recently is if you just put a space in between your maiden name and your last name, you can choose which one that you're going to go by on legal documentation, and both of them will be correct and accurate.
But some people are going to put a hyphen in there just because they hear two last names.
Listen, don't.
Somebody's going to do that.
Don't do it to your children either.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't care if you're going to give them both last names. Fine, do that. Just use a fucking space for the love of God. Okay? Use a space. Don't put a hyphen. Most inconvenient character I've ever seen. Why did they make that? I don't know. I don't understand whose idea it was to hyphenate two words. Stop. Okay, we're fine with a space. Lord. Anyways, I just had to get that out. Anytime that I can tell anybody don't do it, please don't do it. Space is fine. Yeah. Space is fine.
Yeah, the hyphen is not in my future.
Because people think it's the slash.
Oh my God.
Literally, they think it's a slash when they put it on.
Slash is kind of crazy. I kind of do love that.
The slash is wild. I
might do a slash.
What am I, a fraction?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What is this, math? We're doing what? Come on.
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah, but when they go to write it in, type it in the computer, they think it's a slash. Or the best is when they're writing it out by hand, and you can see them literally have the wheel of death spinning.
A slash is some Elon Musk shit right there.
Yes, it really is. We have the same birthday, by the way, me and Elon.
I thought you were saying you and I was like, what?
No, girl. We're both Cancers, but me and Elon Musk have the same birthday.
We are a week apart.
Yes.
You and Elon Musk have the same birthday.
Same birthday,
How do
yeah.
you feel about that?
It makes me feel like I have really big shoes to fill that I'm not going to fill.
Just don't think about him.
Yeah, I don't.
I try not to think about Elon
I try my
Musk.
best not to.
Elon Musk is really becoming a political person. And I'm
literally
why
stay
can't you
in your
just
fucking lane.
Why can't you just be an evil genius? And
Literally
just let
stay
it
in your
be
fucking
that?
lane, brother. Yeah. Wild.
You know what? It's not my business.
Mm-hmm. So, back on topic once again. So we've got some questions from somebody that follows us on the internet. We've got some rapid fire questions. I ask the followers ahead of time what kind of questions they would have for a bride to be, or for whatever the person it is that I'm going to be talking to on the podcast.
Bet.
So,
okay.
One of the questions is, what are you expecting marriage to look like? I guess, how are you expecting it to be different from your current relationship, aside from the sex?
That's it. I don't expect anything else. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to separate that from sex. So I do imagine that it will make things. I feel like that would change conflict for us a little bit.
Okay. How do you guys handle conflict right now?
By talking.
Also, wait a second. Roll back a second. This is a question that somehow I missed. You guys did premarital counseling.
Yeah, we did 2 premarital counseling things.
How was that? Do you feel like it was worth it?
Yeah. But honestly, we it's worth it to help you cover all the bases.
Okay.
Make sure that you're talking about things that you need to be talking about, like number of kids that you want, how you deal with finances, what your strengths and weaknesses are. Are you willing to make sacrifices for the other person? Have you been married before? Have you questions that you want to ask someone before you marry them that I guess people assume.
Right.
What would you do for holidays? What is your religion? What is your spirituality? Would you want to homeschool? Questions that are just logistical.
Okay.
And
so it's not like a continuous thing that you have to keep going to. It's really just you really need a few sessions, I'm sure.
No. The first one we did do a few sessions, but the one we're in now, the church we're in now, they offer marriage counseling afterwards because they're pastors, so they'll continue to be in a relationship with us, and we just kind of want to they just want to keep an eye on us and make sure that we're doing well, which is great. I mean, the first marital counseling that we did was more just talking about the obligatory things. Okay. I feel like if you really talk to your partner about important things, you would cover those things anyway.
Okay.
And then the second one that we did was more more unique to us. Because
Okay.
it's like we had to take personality tests for both of them, but
Oh shit.
we had to take more of a test on like how our relationship usually works. Like it gave us rankings on like what our strengths and weaknesses are, where the other person needs to take over. So it helps us with our communication.
Okay.
So yeah, we did do it, and I would continue.
You're glad you did it.
Oh yeah, and I would
Okay.
continue like marriage counseling and everything, because like it is tough. But I expect marriage,
To look like.
Kind of like how our relationship is now,
Mm-hmm.
but we have more because we'll be having sex, we'll have more outlets to express love,
Mm-hmm.
and also more outlets to resolve conflict. So I do imagine things getting, just our communication getting a little bit easier after then, and also for us to get more sleep, because I spend so much time driving, and I keep him up very late because I don't want to leave,
Right. Understandable.
because it's late and I'm cold usually.
Yes.
And I want to go outside. So yeah, I feel like those are the things that I imagine. I mean, in terms of like sticking around during difficulty and stuff, like we didn't have a honeymoon phase at which we didn't have communication challenges. Like we have always had that. And I imagine that, so I do imagine that we're going to have a better understanding of each other as time goes on. I also imagine we'll start looking like each other more, which has already started to happen, which is weird because we don't look alike at all, but we do at the same time. Yeah, that's that.
Damn. Okay. So next rapid fire question is, how do you think your relationship with your fiance will change? I guess you kind of addressed that a little bit right now.
Yeah.
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear for our marriage?
Yeah.
I used to be really afraid of commitment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that with the dreadlocks.
Yeah, with the dreadlocks. I used to be afraid of commitment. I've never been in a long-term relationship before.
Okay.
Like as an adult.
Yeah.
So I used to have a fear that I would like get bored.
Okay.
And like not want to be with the same person anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that way of thinking, and I don't have this fear anymore, but that way of thinking really came from a place of like not understanding what it means to be in a relationship with someone. Because it means you are sacrificing for that person. It means that you're putting aside your own desires to be with them. Like that's what it means to be in a relationship, is like to miss out on certain things for that person because you love them. Like when it comes down to it, you have to be willing to do that for a relationship to work. And so it's also like, staying together is natural for people to want to do. Like people want to be with a guy that even is hitting them or taking advantage of them or abusing them. It's unnatural for someone to separate from someone that they've known for so long. Like that's something that I didn't realize. I had kind of trained myself to separate from people that I was interested in before because they were abusive or they were not, good people, or they weren't working for me. Like once I realized like, oh, I've trained myself to think of relationships that way. It's not natural to do that. It's natural to want to work things out with someone. And so once I realized that, like it started to become like apparent in my mind. It's like, there's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to commitment, because that person's always going to be in your heart and you're committed to them, whether you like it or not, because you love them and you can't just unlove them. Yeah. So that used to be the big fear for me. I used to be afraid of losing myself because
that's very prevalent for me a lot of the times.
Yeah. Fear of losing myself because we have such different interests. I'm a musician. We were talking about this with our careers. Like I used to be so hungry for career success, and then I found love and everything just kind of chilled out. And now I'm in a place. It does
chill out a lot.
Where
it's hard to keep a hold of that.
Yeah. Yeah. That hunger, it's honestly gone. Yeah. And he believes, and I believe too, that it will come back one day. Yeah. But it's just not here now because we're in love. Like everything goes on hold when you fall in love. Yeah. Everything. Like your relationship with your friends goes on hold to a certain extent, your family, your schoolwork, your career. And in my experience, my long-term aspirations for my artistic career had to go on hold for a little bit because I'm in love with someone. Like I was afraid of that because he's not artistic. He's a nurse and everything. And how am I going to be the sort of artistic social commentator, critical thinker when I'm just like this puddle of love? Like, how am I gonna do that? I've kind of lost my edge because someone loves me. But I'm kind of like, first of all, if I wasn't with someone like him who wasn't creative, bills would not get paid the way they need to, and I would never ever have any hope of getting it done. So, you know, that was probably my biggest fear. But I'm over that now because the desire for sex just overrides all of that. It really does.
Oh, shit.
I don't care.
That leads us into another question that they had. How much alone time do you need?
I don't know because I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like
as you guys live together, you'll start to learn that. Because right now, you probably are in the mindset of like always wanting to spend time with each other. Yeah. And I feel like that's not even like, I'm not even saying that's an unhealthy thing because I also feel like that with Josh. But now like when Josh goes to work, I like realize that I need the time for myself to be able to get things done that I need to do. You know what I mean? And it gives me a chance to like have my drive back. And like, I've noticed that like for me specifically, I didn't think that I needed any alone time. And then as soon as I started getting alone time because Josh went back to working in person, I was like, oh shit, I've been missing this. Now I like go on 2-mile walks every day. And like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't realize that I was lacking that and that I was needing that because I was so in love with the person that I'm with that I didn't feel like I needed that. And it's not that I was getting sick of him or that I was like, I really need time to myself, but realistically,
it's not a want.
I was like, oh shit, I do need time for this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like even now, sometimes I'm like, okay, like you can go in the office and I'm going to be out here on my laptop. Like I don't feel the need to be right next to him all the time now.
This is very timely because I feel like that's where he's at. I get a lot of alone time because he works and I'm not working right now. Yeah. And I don't go to work until, I don't go to work until 12:45. Right. So I get a lot of alone time that I need and he really doesn't. And
I feel like we're in similar situations. Yeah.
Yeah. He's an introvert and I'm like more extroverted. So like I get a decent amount of alone time anyway. Yeah. I don't particularly want it, but
but you do get it whether you want it or not because he's going to work.
And like it's hard for me because like once I see him, I've been alone all day. Like I just want to be with him.
I agree.
And like he wants to be with me, but I think he has the need for alone time that he doesn't always articulate.
That he doesn't get. Yeah.
And we're working on that. Yeah. Right now. Shout out to you, JP. You love our communication.
Shout out to JP.
Shout out to JP.
Okay, so another thing that somebody asked is, how do you plan on spending the holidays?
Yeah. So his family and my family are very different when it comes to holidays.
Also, your families live in 2 different states. His parents live in Connecticut. Your parents live in New Jersey.
Yeah. We live in Connecticut. So we're there most of the time. So when it comes to holidays, like I need to go down. Like I've just not been, I feel much better when I'm in Jersey in a lot of ways. So we've decided Thanksgivings generally we're going to spend down here because our family has this huge dinner usually for Thanksgiving. And it's like my favorite holiday. For Christmas, we said we would do Christmas Eve with his parents and then Christmas Day with mine, or Christmas Day with his parents and Christmas Eve with mine.
Okay. Well, it's only a 3-hour drive, so it's not like it's like 6 hours where it takes the whole day.
Once we have kids, that'll get a little complicated, but for right now, it's fine. His family holidays are not a huge deal for. Like, they don't like big celebrations anyway. So that's why like my family, we tend to like, right now we're thinking that we'll do more with my family for the big holidays, especially since we're up there most of the time. So that's the plan. And then his mom's birthday is on Thanksgiving some years. So some Thanksgivings we'll have to
be up there
because
Okay, well, that's good. At least you've talked about it in premarital counseling, I'm sure. Yep. Another premarital counseling question that I guess was, how are you guys going to handle your disagreements, or how have you learned to work through disagreements?
Oh, that's a great question. Let me just think back to yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't know. Yeah, we're really good at working through. It's important to lead with forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's something that's, just a staple of our faith that we kind of lead everything with. For me, I tend to be more, it's funny because I seem more impulsive and like expressive, but I'm actually much better at being careful with my words in conflict than he is. He actually really struggles to not just let it all out in the moment because he's not the best talker. So he's a great listener, but what I kind of do is I tend to be I try not to win.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, Jordan Peterson said something really smart, which is like, anytime you win an argument, you lose with your partner because you're spending time with someone now you're living with someone who's defeated.
Yeah.
And so like, once I'm on a tip and I'm just going and going and going about something, he will say something that will be not what I thought he meant, or he'll say something that will be just different from what I was thinking. And like, instead of like going, I just kind of, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'll just backpedal on what I said.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like if you're in a disagreement with someone, like we've all seen our parents argue.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in a disagreement with someone, it's very easy to just want to like win.
Yeah.
But I try not to win because then he has nothing to say afterwards, and then we have to continue life afterwards, like, and he's just feeling bad. So I'm like, okay, so you meant this. Okay, so then I can see why you would feel that, even if I'm still upset. Like, I try to do that. Like, I try to, like,
I actually think I do a similar thing.
Yeah.
I hardly ever give a fuck about who's right in the conversation.
Yeah.
I usually like care more about the communication so that we're on the same page. Because obviously, if we're having a disagreement, it's because we're not on the same page about something.
Yeah.
So like, for me, more so when I'm like having an argument with somebody, like, it's usually because we're not on the same page with something, and I need to make sure that there's clarification so that we're on the same page. That's normally where my frustration comes from, is like, if somebody says something, like, let's say it's Josh that like said something that I don't like the way that he said something, or I don't like the way that he told me something, I'm like, I'm talking to you because this is how that made me feel, and I don't want that to happen again. Yeah. Because that's not fair to our relationship in a second, because I'm going to start holding resentment towards you if you continue doing that kind of thing. So we have to, I'm more concerned about like the communication and making sure that we're on the same page so it doesn't happen again, which is why I think the two of us don't argue very often. That's just our personal relationship. We don't argue very often, but I think it's because like, it's usually like some kind of communication thing where I'm like, we have to make sure we don't do that shit. Because we shouldn't have to argue about stupid little stuff. You know what I mean?
It's always a communication thing.
Yeah, it is. Damn. Yeah. Well, I feel like I asked you all my questions.
Awesome.
That I had. Did you have fun?
I did. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you had fun. That was so cool. I feel like I'm so happy with how this episode went, because I feel like other people that might be like brides to be will have a little bit of insight of what they can expect. Yeah, of what they can expect with like walking into this kind of thing, and like maybe how much time they would want to like plan something. I feel like, okay, if that, let's say that you were going to change the time frame that you got married in, what do you think you would think would be ideal for planning a wedding? That's my closing question.
I actually feel like...
But do you think it's like an appropriate amount of time?
I actually feel like this is fine. I like...
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it's fine. Again, it cannot be underestimated waiting till marriage. But
right.
like, I
was going to say, if you took that out of the equation, what do you think would be like a nice, relaxed time frame?
I don't know, because I've only ever done this
once. Yeah.
I honestly feel like, what are we at? 8 months?
Yeah.
7 months?
Yeah.
I kind of think it's fine.
That's crazy.
I think it depends on the amount of money that you have.
Yeah.
Too. And the truth is that my parents, they agreed to cover the reception.
Yeah.
JP covers the honeymoon. I cover photography, flowers. And
how expensive are flowers?
Oh my God, dude. Fucking they wanted to charge us like $3,000 for everything. So for the bouquets themselves, the women's bouquets was all going to be like the lowest they could get it at for all the bouquets for the women was $700. We had to get them. So basically the bouquets are going to be emphasis on greenery so that they're not as expensive.
Yeah.
But like that was the lowest for everything, like $3,000 that they could get it.
Oh my God.
It's freaking ridiculous.
Flowers
But
die.
I put towards, and that's what I was saying. We could go to Home Depot and cut them up.
Right.
But that would mean that I'd
You
be
could
working.
come to my house, shit.
That would mean that I'd be working on the morning of the wedding.
Yeah.
And that's not good. So time is very valuable. I feel like 8 months is fine. And the reason I'm saying it is because I don't want to be doing this anymore. I'm like,
Right.
It's still a party. It's still a wedding. It's not the marriage. It's important. It was more important to me to get it done quickly because like I want to move on. I want to do something else. I don't really want to stay here. Like it's still just a wedding. And fortunately, my parents can support it so that we can have something nice in a shorter amount of time. Some people wait 2 years, 5 years so that they can come up with it on their own, or they just have more time to afford things. I would just say do it as quickly as you can. Because like all these other details are great, but it's just going to be, it's about being married. It's about being married.
Yeah.
Like that's being married, having
It's not
babies,
about the wedding,
starting
really.
your life. It's not about the wedding. So I would say just get it done as quickly as you can. That makes you feel like you had something that you are going to be happy with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for coming on URL versus IRL.
Thank
Langston.
you. Thank you guys so much. I had so much fun talking.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
good episode.
Yee.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, that's crazy.
No way. All right, talk to you soon on the next URL versus IRL. All right, you guys. Well, that's a wrap on the bride-to-be episode. That was so exciting. I feel like that was such a special thing for me to be able to do because I got to have a family member on the podcast for the first time ever, which is so exciting. I have been wanting to bring family onto this podcast for so long because it's just it's such a special thing to me, and like I just feel so close to me. And I think that I've been just trying to figure out what to talk to my family members about. But like I said, my cousin is literally in the thick of this right now, which I think is such a special time. I can't believe the fact that she even made the time to come and do this podcast with me right before the wedding. We did this right in between the bachelorette party and the wedding. So regardless, I thought this would be a really cool episode for any people that are recently engaged maybe, or people that are like curious about weddings and don't really know much about it, because realistically, like, you don't learn anything about it unless if you're in the absolute thick of it. So thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. As always, I appreciate you guys giving me your time and your ear and listening to me while you're either like doing dishes or driving in the car or cleaning your house, whatever it is that you're doing. I'm glad that you and I got to spend some time together. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I seriously appreciate your support and would not do this without you. As always, I'm going to leave all of the links that you could possibly need in the description attached to this episode. And as always, I hate to say it, but I'll see you next Tuesday.